self until you call us.
Yeah. All right. Welcome. Hey, welcome everybody. We are live on Facebook. You guys, everybody can see you. You can wave. Hey. And yeah, you guys can stay muted until, just in case like background noise happens. But on live, we have Tiffany, we have Val, we have Carissa, Bethany, and Jules. And we're here to just share stories and experiences of these ladies. Some of you guys may recognize these faces. These were our ladies from our transformation contest that we ran last week. We shared their videos. You guys voted on who you really resonated with. And we're going to be crowning our winner today live on the call. But before we do that, I want to ask these ladies some questions and kind of get their experience, because I know that as we hear the stories of others, it helps us to start to see them in ourselves and start to believe in ourselves. And I think there's a lot of power in community and in being with other people who are going through the same process and who are struggling and who are doing this alongside with us. And that's what you get inside of MACROS 101. And so I wanted these alumni to come back and share their stories with you so that you guys can hear them and start to see yourselves in them and make that decision that's right for you. So before I get into like question and answer mode, let's go around. We're gonna do a little round robin and just give a little bit of a synopsis of, what made you join MACROS 101? What kind of transformation occurred for you, and where are you at in your journey now because of that process? So we're gonna start with, because we're gonna go in order on my screen. So we're gonna start with Tiffany, and then Val, and then Carissa, and then Bethany, and then Jules. Okay, so it's Tiffany, you're up.
All right. So I've just felt like my body's broken since I was little. I started trying to lose weight between 5th and 6th grade. And it's been cycles of my weight going up and down since then, but it's just gone up and up since I started having babies. So I joined MACROS 101 during the 3rd trimester of my 5th pregnancy. And I was a little bit hesitant because I was pregnant and not needing to lose weight at that point. But I decided to join just to get my head in the right place. And I've never liked myself before. But since going through MACROS 101, like I can honestly say that I like myself now. I haven't felt this confident probably since, before you become self-conscious when you're like 8. And so I feel more confident than I ever have. I use I am statements now to just kind of change who I am and not I am not. And so that's really changed to help me to be able to compete in races with my husband. And I have a goal to train for a half Ironman next year, which scares me, but I'm really excited to do it. So that's where I am.
But because you've taken MACROS 101, you know that if it scares you, it probably means it's the next step in that ladder of growth, right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm always talking about. If it scares you, it's probably the right next step.
It does scare me.
Awesome, Tiffany. Okay, cool. Val.
All right. So I started MACROS 101 right after I had a miscarriage, which was an unexpected pregnancy that kind of took me for a loop. And so that was not a good spot for me. And I had like the whole month of August while I was dealing with the miscarriage, like my weight had crept up and up and up and up, and I was just eating my feelings. So when this launched, I was like, okay, I need some help here. And so when I started the program, I definitely relied on the scale to dictate like how I felt before that point. And I didn't take any other data points because I didn't know better. So I just would, if the scale was up, then I would snowball into like, oh, this is not working, so I'm not going to do it anymore. And then that would throw the consistency factor out the window. So through the program, what I learned was not so much of that dieter mentality, but instead that scientific like approach to what I was doing. And that was not something I'd done before. And then I also realized that my inner voice was honestly the biggest part of my problem. And that really helped me a lot. So now I am better at, just like Tiffany, like I am better at just viewing myself in a better light and not putting myself down all the time. And I am a perfectionist. Like I want everything to always be perfect. And that doesn't always go well if you do that with MACROS, because no one can be perfect. So I've just learned a lot on how to talk to myself better and to not always be a perfectionist when I approach things.
Yeah, it's so good. That inner critic, like is so prominent for so many women, that like that inner critic that wants to tell you that you're never going to be good enough. You're never going to get this. Oh, you did a little bit wrong. Oh, well then you might as well throw in the towel for the day. That inner critic is so powerful and holds power for a lot of women. And when we can learn to quiet that inner critic a little bit, or even just like talk back to that inner critic, like when it says that to you, or valuing being able to like, no, you're wrong. Like, I hear you. You're trying to keep me safe. Thank you for being there, but you're wrong. I can do this. I can be successful. So that's awesome. All right, Carissa.
Hi. So I joined Macros 101 4 months postpartum. I went through the 5-day challenge like many of you sitting here. And as you've known through the challenge, what you get from it is so much more than you think you're going to get. Like all the free stuff that Amber gives away and makes you think and challenges you in a way. Those were my big takeaways, to really think like, is Macros 101 for me? And I remember, looking at the investment, thinking like, this is a lot of money. Like, should I do this? Is it going to work for me? And I'm so glad that I took that chance, because it wasn't her just giving us our macro account and saying like, here you go. It's really a journey in having us become the macro scientists. And through that, I've hit a number on the scale that I haven't seen since high school. I have more self-confidence than I did pre-pregnancy. And I've created healthy eating habits to where I'm not always in a deficit. I've executed my first reverse and I'm almost to maintenance. And it's just a great feeling to know like maintenance is where you want to live, and not always in a deficit, and not always cutting calories and worrying about like, oh, I can't eat that. There's too many carbs in that, and like thriving in eating carbs in a way. So I would say that's really been my journey through it. I've always been consistent in the gym, but it's that nutrition and that key to me being in control of my nutrition that has completely changed everything.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Carissa. Okay, Bethany.
I unmute myself. So before Macros 101, I was like, I had 3 kids, and then when my mid-30s, like my stomach started freaking out and doing weird things, and so I gained like a bunch of weight, and so I started exercising, and I tried keto, and I tried like all the different things to try, and nothing really was sustainable. I couldn't find anything that I could stick to because I like food. And so I found Amber on podcasts. I did the 5-day challenge, and I just loved the idea that I could eat what I wanted to, and that I was in charge of what I was eating, because it was so hard for me. Like I would just like do so well during the week, and then on the weekends I would just like fall apart and eat everything, all the things that I wanted to eat. And like during Macros 101, then I learned like food is just food. It's not good or bad food, or healthy or unhealthy, and that it's like my choice to eat what I want, and to like make the plan that's going to work for me, that's enjoyable and sustainable. And now I've been able to teach my kids about better ways of eating, and like that food isn't like healthy or unhealthy. It depends on what your goal is, and like where you're trying to get to. If I'm trying to bulk, and I did a reverse, and it was wonderful, and it worked great. I didn't gain any weight. And I'm maintaining right now in order to cut later, so it'll be more effective. And it's been just a huge life changer for me.
That's awesome. Thanks, Bethany. All right, last but not least, Jules. Oh, you're muted. Are you? I can't hear you. You're still muted, Jules. There you go. Oh, muted again. There you go.
Yay!
Yay, there she is.
Okay, so yes, before Macros 101, I was fine. Basically, I didn't know what I didn't know. I had lots of spinach in my teeth, and there was nobody there to remove it all.
because I was eating healthy. I knew what good and bad food was. I was coming from a different culture. I already had some good habits established. I was cooking at home. I was exercising. I thought I was doing fine. But as I was going towards my 40s and also hear all this buzzing noise, like I knew that was my missing link, because I thought I had some misunderstanding from all of this craziness of the diet world. And I was definitely scared of the diets because I also heard a lot of bad stories. And I was just kind of convincing myself, like, well, it's okay. Like, there's just extra pounds and I maintain the weight. I just get bigger somehow. I don't know. I exercise more, whatever. So I was convincing myself. And then I think I was using another excuse that if I love my body, well, it's kind of like I'm not allowed to change my body. Mm-hmm. So, and with that whole thing, I came to Amber. And when I volunteered for my first hotspot, which I highly recommend, so hotspot is not really that hot. It's very inviting.
Nice.
Amber, I have to change this name.
I'm super nice.
So it's not so intimidating. And I was kind of giving her my whole hesitation with my cut and feeling superficial. And it's like feeling not at ease, like I am changing this God's creation for this weight loss stuff. And she just said, well, Jules, what's the problem? Why couldn't you have both? And I was like, what? I can love my body and I can work towards improving my body? Are you sure? So that was kind of my permission. And from that, and just how Amber teaches, that it's not about all or nothing or choosing in between worlds. It's really just asking the question of and see where it's going to take you. And that's kind of fun and playful and curious. And that's what I'm trying to do with myself, not just in terms of MACROS 101 of food, but even everything else. And she has a wonderful module in MACROS 101 about that. So that was awesome. And anyway, after that call, I cried. You didn't know that, but I cried. I was feeling free that I can move forward and not just look at those, pretty pictures or figuring out how to eat for muscles or whatever. And I think what other reason you gave me was kind of move away from that feeling superficial because I needed meaning in life. And you said, well, what if it's not just about that scale weight? What is just about who you are becoming during this process? And that gave me that meaning that I was kind of looking for, because in a way, that's how I approach my journey. Because I always ask myself, well, who am I becoming during this process? I don't like that dialogue. No. Let's just try to switch and move towards that miracle scale that I'm becoming. And I really don't know who I'm becoming, because it's nice to have that number 10 on the miracle scale. But as I'm becoming, I'm evolving and I'm still becoming.
Mm-hmm. And you always will.
But I do, like you say, milestones. I do my milestone check-ins. I'm like, it feels right. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that with me.
Awesome.
I don't think I said that in my testimonial because I wanted to say a lot more, and now I'm saying more. But yes, and as you know, my mom has benefited from it as well. And what the amazing part was that she literally had digestive issues for years. And, we were eating healthy. Mm-hmm. We are coming from different culture. We were not sugar addicts and whatever. But somehow, all this balanced macronutrients and also portion sizes, what really made the difference, because she was kind of eating like a bird. And she would say, are you sure I can eat that much? I'm like, Mom, just try. Yes. Now she's eating just fine. And she likes it. And she sleeps better.
I love it.
So, and obviously she's 80. So where am I now after MACROS 101? Well, I obviously... Oh, yeah. And by the way, that's the only program, the Coaching Academy and MACROS 101, where I was ready to sign up before it was open. That's why I did my whole plan, because I'm an action taker. So like when I was listening to your podcast, I was already preparing myself. So I did my reverse to maintenance on my own. Listen to you. It worked fine. And then when I was going to Macros 101, I was ready for my cut. I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to be hurt, but I know I won't, because I know like what it means and listening to you, but I was kind of still scared. But it was fine. It was successful, and I felt so empowered. Like, oh my God! So like I did this 8-week cut, and it felt kind of like at ease. It's almost like I didn't work for it, just like you say. Yeah. It doesn't have to be hard. So and then from that, yeah. So I lost 10 pounds and 1.5 inches of my waist, and I was 48 because it was like, wow, that's kind of fun. And then signed up with Coaching Academy afterwards because I want to spread the word and help other women who think they eat healthy or eat enough to tell them what it really means. And also, I think what is possible for me now, because I remember you always said that I want you to cut at the highest calorie number possible. And that sounded kind of like, somewhere in the sky. What does it mean? Like, what? And then when I did my second reverse from my first cut, I listened to my body. Nobody told me like what to do and where to do. I had all my data collection. I listened. I paid attention. My body like this right now. And I got to 2,300. And now I am cutting at 2,000 calories to begin with. Okay. So Amber, it works.
It works. It works. All these things that I teach, they work. Weird.
Yeah. Who knew? When I was going into my second cut, I wasn't like saying, hey, this is my goal. I was just kind of curious, like, And then it kind of happened. And when it happened, I put this all together. I'm like, I think I'm doing it now. 2,000 calories. And when I talk to my clients and they tell me they live at 1,200, I'm like, you know what? I'm cutting at 700 more than you live at.
Yes. Let me help you. Let me help you.
Yes. So it works. And so basically now, my wonderful friend and partner, Amanda, who actually introduced me to you. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah. So we are having other wonderful ladies who are enrolled in MACROS 101, and we hope that we will inspire, encourage, and help them feel free and empowered.
I love it so much. Okay, so Jules had already counted macros before she joined. What about the others of you guys? Or were any of you brand new to macro counting, or had you guys all counted macros before? Who was brand new? Anybody brand new? You were brand new, Bethany? And Val was brand new too. Okay, so as somebody who was like brand new to macro counting, what were some of those fears that you had coming into the program? And what was that experience like as someone who had like never counted macros before? Let's start with Bethany and then Val if you want to share too. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. So I tried like a whole bunch of different things, and I was like so hopeful listening to macro counting and going like, oh, I can actually like have ice cream or like cake and not feel guilty or bad about it. Like that was my hope that I was holding on to. Like maybe this will actually give me
I can actually do that.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
So I looked up like all the different macro calculators and like tried, and I got all these different answers, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like so lost. I don't know where to start, like where to go. And so when I found the 5-day challenge, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this because maybe somebody will tell me like what to do, like where to start. And it was like so much more than that. So
yeah. And then
it was just like so hopeful.
Then Stinkin' Amber like teaches you all these other things that like are more important during the 5-day challenge. And
yeah. So I mean, it was like MyFitnessPal was like super overwhelming, and like all of the macro calculators online, like everything was like, it was pretty overwhelming. So I knew I needed somebody to help me at least figure out macro counting in general. And what I got was like so much more than that.
Yeah. And so it was super overwhelming, coming in. Where are you now? Like, I think sometimes people come in and they're like, I'm super overwhelmed, and it's like super overwhelming, and they don't look like 3 weeks down the road to realize, oh, like I'm going to get through this. It isn't always going to be overwhelming. So what is that experience like for you?
Oh, no. Yeah, no. So like just going through Macros 101, it was like almost immediately like better. Like, oh, I've got all these tools and Amber's going to teach me how to use them. Like now it's like easy. Like I just do my fitness pal every day, like just put everything in. And like now that I've kind of built up a little bit of like recipes and I've got like your like cheat sheet for for my fitness pal and stuff, it's just like, you know, I just go in and do it. It's like it's not even a like second thought, like how it's way easy now.
Yeah. What about you, Val? What was your experience brand new?
So I had just come from several rounds of Whole30, which definitely is wonderful. There's nothing wrong with it. But definitely not the same because there's no calorie counting in that paleo lifestyle. That's what I was doing. So for me, it was overwhelming as well. I don't know where I read this. I think it was with you guys, or maybe it was Lily Eats and Tells. I started with just my protein. So like the first thing I did, like I got my numbers. I did pay for a coach to help me with that through your program to get my starting numbers. And I was overwhelmed. So I just started with my protein. So for 3 days, I tracked my protein. And then I tried to get my carbs and my fats a little bit closer. And I think for me, part of the case, because I'm perfectionist, I want those numbers to be like perfect at the end of the day. I still struggle with this. Like last night, I was over on protein, and I'm sorry, I had ate way more protein than I needed to, and then I had like went over on my fats, and I had to just let it go because like my calories were still fine for the day. Overall, I'm pretty consistent in where I'm finding my protein to hit, and then like my fats and carbs. Maybe as I get closer to like a goal or maybe a vacation or something, I'm being like more super precise with those numbers, but I try to keep them in a range instead. That helps me because my brain functions in that way of like black and white. I don't live in gray area very well. Like I live my best life in black and white. So that was a struggle for me, but I eventually, same thing. It just got easier. I also like kind of have like an arsenal of like snacks that I cycle through that are helpful to me. So like I no longer just like kind of off the cuff. I'm like, oh, I'll just have like a cookie or something like that. Instead, unless I'm planning for that. Instead, I'm like, all right, I know I can go with this. I can go with an apple and peanut butter. I can do cottage cheese and pop chips. So like, I think it helps once you learn some of those recipes and you learn those counts. It's a lot easier over time. And I love all of the food I eat. It is like delicious. I like to eat. Like I'm not a person who doesn't enjoy food. Like I really enjoy eating.
Same. Okay, so Tiffany and Carissa, though, you guys had counted macros before Macros 101. So why the heck did you join Macros 101 if you already knew how to count macros? Who wants to answer that?
I can.
Tiffany?
It wasn't working.
Oh.
It wasn't working.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, I wasn't losing any weight, and I was being so good, quote unquote, you know, and I lived in black and white, and I have learned to find gray. And for some reason, that's been really successful for me, just to be able to be a little more lenient with myself, but also, I guess it's just become enjoyable. But, I understood carbs, fat, and protein since I was a little girl. But just my mind shift has changed with it, and finding a range that's good for me, and reverse dieting. That's been key for me. I was just way too low of calories.
Yeah, that's cool. Carissa, you want to share your experience?
Yeah, I would say my macro counting came through a different program during CrossFit at the time. And they gave me my macros, but it didn't teach you how to do a reverse or to get a maintenance. It was just cut. And so that would be my real experience with counting macros. And going into Macros 101, I hadn't been counting for years. I had just been kind of, quote unquote, living in a deficit where I would just watch what I eat. To like what I said in my story, I was completely under eating. I wasn't eating the amount of protein that my body needed for the workouts that I was doing, or the fact that I was a mom and needed energy. And, you know, I still to this day go to the app and I'm like, okay, look at the transcript. What does Amber say to do? Like, what am I doing? How do I do this? And it's just a tool. So that's really what I got from this experience, was just a tool that I could take with me for, you know, the rest of my life, really, and use it to get the results I want and to really show my daughter, you know, what healthy is, and not that she has to eat a salad for lunch, and that, you know, you can thrive eating nutritious food.
That's awesome. Jules had also mentioned that she was like ready to sign up before like I even like opened the doors, but a lot of people are not there. So were any of you nervous or scared or like hesitant to sign up? Bethany was. So, oh, and so were Val and okay, all of you guys were except for Jules. Okay, so for like the person who's sitting here who's like hesitant to sign up, Bethany, what was the fear that you had and how did you work yourself through that fear?
Oh my gosh. So for me, it was just like, it was so expensive and I wasn't sure like exactly what I was going to get out of it, or like, is it even going to work? And then I'm spending all this money on it. Right. But I just kind of like took the leap anyway. Like, I don't know. It was like, I've listened to so many of your podcasts and stuff, and I was like, everything that she says makes sense, you know? And so I can't imagine that she's going to be like scamming me and like this program is going to be any different.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you're not.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But that was for me, was just like this, how is this going to work for me? Like, and it's just like such a big investment, but I can tell you it's like so worth it. Like the investment was so worth it for me. It was like such a big life changer. And like, I have everything that I need to do whatever I want with my body now, you know, like, and so for me, it was just like, it was so expensive. And it was just like, I didn't know if it was going to work. I guess I've said that like a lot of times, but yeah, that was like my big hesitation, was like, I just didn't know, like, I had no idea. I mean, everybody can tell you 1,000 times, like, yeah, it's like so worth it. But like, it's even hard to explain like how worth it is. Like, would I do it again? Like in a heartbeat, I would. But it's just, you never know. Because you think, at least I did, like, not everything works for me, you know? And like, how is this going to be any different than anything else? And it was just kind of like, that was the hesitation.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else want to share their experience? Tiffany?
So I had planned on joining and didn't a couple times. And like, I'm going to do it. And then I just didn't. Mm-hmm. And so then I was planning on it. And then I was pregnant. And so it was like, well, maybe this isn't the right time because I need to like really utilize those 8 weeks of coaching with her. And anyway, but I just realized something was missing and it was my head. And so let's just get that all in the right place while I don't need to be dropping a whole bunch of weight. And so the hesitation was, okay, you know, I'm pregnant now. Like, this isn't the time to lose weight, but it's so much more than losing weight. It's just learning how to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people this week, actually, a surprising number of pregnant women who have actually messaged me wondering if this is the time to join Macros 101. And something that you just said, it made me think of, shocker, a metaphor. You guys all like laugh at me because I like me and my metaphors. But it makes me think of like, the question that I've been asking back to these pregnant women is like, are you going to eat food during your pregnancy? And are you going to think during your pregnancy? Because a lot of times people are like, well, I'm not in a place where I'm going to lose weight right now because I'm pregnant, or whatever circumstance you're in that is like, this is not like the best time for you to be losing weight. And so they're like, oh, I can't do geometry. This is my metaphor. I can't do geometry right now, so I probably shouldn't enroll in this class. And I'm like, yeah, but wait a minute. Like, before you do geometry, you got to like learn how to do addition and subtraction and like multiplication and like all of that stuff first. And so a lot of people are like, well, I can't do geometry, so I'll do geometry later. And then when they get to geometry, they realize they have to backtrack and do all this other work to learn how to do geometry. So it's like, what if instead of doing geometry now, you focused right now on the addition and the subtraction and the like mental work that you were talking about. So when it is time to lose weight, you've already done all the prereqs. You've already done the prerequisites, and now you can actually dive in and like be successful moving forward. So I don't know if that metaphor landed.
Exactly.
But like that's what I hear you saying.
Well, and I needed to reverse.
Yeah.
I needed to reverse too.
Which is
so great. It was a good time to reverse.
It's a perfect time to reverse. More food, grow that baby, get your mindset in order, and then boom. And that's what happened with you is then when you had the baby, like you had everything you needed. You'd already done all the prereqs. You'd already done all the mental work, all of the reverse work to then be able to be successful in losing the pregnancy weight. So it's awesome. Chris or Val, did you want to share an experience? You don't have to, but I didn't want to take away the opportunity. No? Okay.
I guess I could share.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, we both jumped on.
Okay, Chris and then Val.
Okay, sorry. We must have both made the decision that we were going to jump on. So my experience was, I think I waited till the very last day that I could possibly sign up. Just as I was contemplating, like, is it just going to be where, she sends me my numbers and is just like, here you go. But through this, like the 5-day challenge, I did hear other ladies' stories where women were saying like, I've been able to love myself and I'm not hard on myself anymore. And I resonated with that because that was a struggle for me, playing the comparison game. And I was like, what is she teaching? Like, what is it that is in this course that has made these women feel this way? Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking like, what if it works? Like, what if I come out of this course knowing the things that I need to know, loving myself through it? And I just decided just to sign up. And I remember getting in the course and going through everything, like just so excited, like Christmas basically, and just ready to go because I'd made the investment. And I think it's important to know like the price, it's a hefty price tag, but the tools and that you get for life are invaluable and you'll use them forever. And at the time when I was thinking of signing up, I didn't know that I was going to use these tools forever. I thought maybe I would use them for 3 months, like other things I've done in the past. But with this, I really am still using it. And my baby's almost a year old, So if you're sitting there wondering, like, if this is for you, know that the tools that you're going to have are going to help you to get the results that you want. And you've taken this challenge because there's something inside you saying you're not happy or you're looking for different results that you're not currently getting. So my advice would be to do it. Just do it and take that leap of faith.
That's good. It reminds me of, you guys all know Melissa Porter, but Melissa, she shared this with me that she waited till like literally 11. We closed doors at midnight when she joined, 11:59, and she like slid in under the deadline and like purchased the program. And then she woke up the next morning and had so much buyer's remorse that she didn't open it for a week. Like she didn't open the program for an entire week because she like was like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I just do? And after the week, she kind of like talked herself into it. It's like, okay, like let's just get started. And then you guys all know her story, and you guys who are listening can hear her story on the podcast. But she ended up losing 55 pounds. She's been able to keep it off for 2.5 years. She now coaches inside of MACROS 101. But she always reminds me, she's like, I was that person who joined like last minute, had so much buyer's remorse. And then once she finally opened the program and like got into it, it like literally changed her life, her body, and everything that she's doing. So I think there's so many more people that can relate to that, Carissa, of just being like, is this right? And like waiting till that last minute to make the decision. And you're not alone. And I think it's helpful for people to hear that story. Val, did you have something you wanted to add as well?
It's similar sentiments. My husband was the one who gave me like the push, like, because I told him I'm a teacher, so every penny counts for me as a teacher. And I was talking to him about it, and I pretty much the same thing. I was scared, like, what if this doesn't work? Because I'm the type of person that, like, if I buy something or I invest in something, I want my full value. Like, I don't.
Me too.
don't buy things on the cuff. I don't buy them. Like, I plan for it. We budget for it, and I better have a coupon. Like, that's how I work. So for me, it was like, that was really nerve wracking to think, like, what if I buy this and there's no way for me to get my money back? And what I realized was, it was worth every penny, but it was not like, I had to put a lot of work in. Like, I think there are some programs and there's some things out there that are just like, they just kind of like hand it to you, or it's like, here, I'm going to like babysit you through this and then you're done. And that's not what this is about. And when I opened it and I started getting into it, I was like, whoa, this is going to, and it was a good thing. It really took a lot more, of like, it was a good way. I was attacking like the mental way I was thinking of things more than I realized. And it was a good thing. So yeah. I totally understand those of you who have a budget and that think every penny counts, and that like, we don't, buy things off the fly, but this is worth the money. And I also want to say, like, just this week, so it's been almost like 6 months since we did this. This morning, I was like, okay, I got to go back to this, which is in the modules, which you always get to keep forever. And I was pulling up how to adjust my macros, because I need to do some adjustments on my numbers. And I have all of that information. So if someone had just like kind of done it for me, or just like done, like, here it is and we're done, I wouldn't have those tools to bring back right now. And I can go through and like go through all of the modules again. I can listen to something again or look at the worksheets, which has been very helpful. So it's there forever. You don't lose it.
Yeah, that's so good. So on that same vein, I think there's been some conversation in the Biceps After Babies ladies group about who like this is not for, right? I think it's really easy for us to be like, oh, this is an amazing program and like everybody should buy it. But we all know that like, no, probably not everybody should buy it. Like, it's not for some people. And I have some thoughts about who I think it's not for. But I'm curious if any of you guys have any thoughts about having been through the program, right? Having been through the experience, who would you say shouldn't join this program? Who is this not for? Hard questions. I will share mine if nobody has anything else, but I thought maybe you guys might have some insight. Yeah, Krista?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We should raise our hands.
Oh, it's so hard because you guys can't see each other like I can see you. Krista and then Val.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would say this program is not for someone who wants their numbers. Well, you can still get your numbers sent to you, but someone who just wants a plan, a meal plan, numbers, eat this, because you're in control. You're the macro scientist, like Amber loves to say, this is not for someone who just wants it all written down and they follow it.
Yeah, agreed. Val, do you want to add something?
I also think that like if your goal is to get like from point A to point B as fast as possible, this is not the program. Like, I could lose like 30 pounds by cutting my calories really drastically and being like really, really hungry. And I could lose weight very quickly, but I'm not going to keep that. Like, that's not something I can maintain for a long period of time. So this is not for the person who needs that, like, I need a solution to something I'm going to go to or a vacation, and I need it in like 8 weeks. So I'm going to join this, and in 8 weeks I'll be there, because that's not the process.
Yeah.
I enjoy the way we do it. But.
Yeah. Well, and the reason we do it that way is because then you keep the results. It's like, yes, you can lose 30 pounds in 30 days, but then you're probably going to be 40 pounds heavier the next month. And like that, if that's what you want, you just want to lose the 30 pounds and you don't care what happens afterwards, then yeah, I'm not your girl. But if you would like to lose those 30 pounds and keep it off and have it take a little bit longer, I'm your girl. Tiffany, did you have something too?
Oh, just somebody who doesn't want to answer questions. Oh. Like somebody who's not open to like if you want to be, like they were saying, like if you want to be handed everything, then yes. But if you want to be, if you want to be handed everything, then no. But if you are open to answering questions and thinking deep, then yeah, it's for you. But if not, then
you'll hate it.
You got to think deep. Yeah, you got to think deep.
You'll hate it. Did you have something, Bethany? Didn't see you raise your hand.
No, I didn't raise my hand. I've just been kind of thinking through everybody else's answers because it's kind of like coming to me slowly. But if you're not interested in participating and like really delving deep into yourself, this is not for you. But like, and again, what everybody else said, like if you're looking for something that's like a quick fix, this is not it.
Yeah. Jules, did you have something too? Where did Jules go? Oh, there she is. Okay.
Sorry, finger sensitive. Yeah, I think you guys said all of it. Yeah, if you want a quick fix, it's not for you. However, I guess I want to speak to those ones who perhaps don't even know there is another way. Like I said, when you don't know, you don't know. Like I didn't know. And there is so much confusion about this whole nutrition, and there is that stigma that somebody is just giving it to you and you follow the plan, and then when the plan doesn't work, what do? And you look for something else, and then there is always that search for the perfect diet. And maybe not because I don't want to be that person, I don't even know there is a possibility to become that person. And you might be proud of me, I have another metaphor.
I am very proud of you. Let me hear it. I want to hear it.
So it's my metaphor, see if it works. So like you say, macro scientist, I like to say like you become a CEO of your body.
I love it.
Right? And you don't become a CEO in one day, even not in 1 month or in 1 year. You might not even know there is a possibility for you to become that. So you might be like sitting somewhere down low and trying to see who tells you what to do and how to be in charge of your body, because you just haven't been given the tools, or nobody has helped you remove that spinach in your teeth, right? Like you talked about in the challenge. So that's why, and when you become a CEO, or at least moving towards that direction, that comes with a huge responsibility. And perhaps lots of women, even though they're responsible for everybody else in their life, they might be like not be ready being responsible for themselves yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this program is such a transitional step, because it comes with those tools that help you just like open up a possibility. Like, hey, you don't need somebody else's advice or tell you what to do. You have the tools. You just need to access them and build that confidence of being responsible for your own choices and your own decisions, because you can. That's that empowerment that you teach and that I experienced. And also like with my case studies in that coaching academy. So they did all of that stuff. And I was able to show them, hey, but you can do it yourself. And they took off and they kind of like it now. Yeah. But before they didn't know it was possible and it was existing. So that's why, like you always teach us, there's always secondary benefit. And yes, we might be fearful. We might feel like we need somebody who is going to tell us what to do. But at the same time, we need to have somebody who can hold that confidence in us. Like you always say, your success is inevitable. Believe me, if you don't believe yourself, and just take that step. And you'll be also perhaps surprised how much you can discover within yourself that is possible. And you won't become that CEO of your health in this 8 weeks. But perhaps you will see, at least if it's possible and it feels good to you, you will continue the journey. And that's where it becomes invaluable. So because that journey is priceless, like it really doesn't matter how much it costs, because it gives you like this new identity, and also removes your search for that perfect diet.
Yeah, right.
Because it doesn't exist.
Which doesn't exist, right? And we all know that doesn't exist.
Yes. Did you like my metaphor?
Yeah, I loved your metaphor. I love a good metaphor. Okay. I will just like chime in that like my response to that of who this isn't for is someone who is looking for me to convince you, or for me to like do it for you. I've had some people who are basically, they're kind of sitting back and being like, just convince me that I should join. Almost like, just prove it to me that you're gonna like make this happen. And if that's the way that you're like looking at this, the problem is that you're looking outside of yourself for someone else to save you. And that's the problem. like that is encapsulated in the problem, is that you're always going outside of yourself or expecting other people to be your savior or the solution to your problem. And what I do with women is I'm not your guru. I'm not like the end all be all. I don't want you listening to me. What I want you to do is to learn to listen to yourself. And I want you to be able to turn internally, and instead of going externally for answers, learn to go inside and ask yourself better questions and get better answers. And so if you're looking for someone to be your guru and to just like tell you what it is and tell you how to do it and like wave my finger at you when you mess up, like it's not your program, because that actually is the problem. When we learn to go inside and I teach you how to do that, that's when things can really start to change. So there are people out there who just want someone to yell at them to like do their push-ups and berate them and like whatever, and cool. You'll hate Macros 101. Don't join. Okay, last question, and I wanted this to be like a quick rapid fire, because then we're going to announce our winner. You guys have been amazing. Thanks for taking of your time and sharing with everybody. Quick 30-second. If you were sitting down with your best friend and your best friend was like, I'm thinking about joining Macros 101, but I'm not sure, what would you say to her? So let's start with Jules, and we'll go backwards this time. Jules, Bethany, Carissa, Val, and Tiffany. 30 seconds. What's your response to her?
I will say just do it.
Just do it. That's it.
Especially if she took your challenge.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody who I invited, they already signed up because you did the work, and I just tell them, just do it. That's it.
That's it.
You will not regret it.
I love it.
Oh, and I just want to say that if you have any trips planned or vacations like I did, and that was my only hesitation, I still did it, and I don't regret about it.
Yeah, good. That's good. Okay, Bethany, 30 seconds. What's your pitch to your friend?
You will learn so much more in this program than just what you think you're looking for, and that it's worth every cent. If you're hesitating at all, like just do it, because it's going to be worth it, and you're going to learn things you didn't even know you wanted to learn and that you needed.
That's awesome. Carissa, what are you saying to your friend?
I guess I would tell her, like, there's going to be women that you can relate to. There's going to be people that you hear their story, and instead of comparing, you're relating to them, and you're knowing that other women are in the same like story. I guess I don't know what to use. Other people have the same story as you, and it's a place where you can share your struggles and a place where you can share your wins, which I don't feel there's a lot of places where you can share your wins as women. So I think that's powerful.
That's cool. That's awesome. Val?
I would say join, and it's more than just a program that is for a temporary moment, but instead it can help you just change the way you view things for life. And the way we talk to ourselves internally is forever, because this body is going to break down eventually. We all are going to get to a point where it's not going to hold out, because that's the way the human body works. But the way you treat yourself and the way you talk to yourself, that's lasting. Like, that's not going to ever change or go away.
That's powerful. Tiffany?
I would just say, do you have goals, and do you want to be a better version of yourself? Because it can help you with more than just your fitness goals. It can help you just step into that better version of yourself and open up new possibilities that you probably didn't even think you could do, because now you have tools to be more confident in yourself and become a better version of yourself.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time, sharing your story, answering my questions. And I know I speak for people who are listening. It's just so valuable to hear the experiences of other people. So thank you so much. All right. Now, like the climax of the moment, we, as many of you know, last week we ran a transformation contest. We shared these ladies' videos. You guys got to vote, because heck, if I'm going to vote on this, no way. There's no way that I could vote. So I don't. My team and I don't vote. We let the community vote, and you guys listened to their stories, and you voted on the person that resonated with you or that really spoke to you, that you related to. And so now we would like to crown our Spring 2002 Transformation Contest winner, and that winner is Carissa. Congratulations, Carissa.
Oh my goodness.
I was trying to play music, but my music lacked playing. So congratulations, Carissa, on being our winner. It was close, you guys. Like within like a couple votes close. Everybody like voted. There was votes across the board. And but Carissa, you are our transformation contest winner. So thank you for sharing your story.
Well, thank you everyone for your votes. And if you get the chance to share your story at the end, I highly encourage it. I was hesitant on sharing my story because it is vulnerable, but there's power in vulnerability.
Yeah. Oh, wise words. Thanks so much. And thank you to Tiffany, to Val, to Carissa, to Bethany, to Jules. Thank you guys for sharing your stories and being here with me. It means the world to me. So I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of what you accomplished. It's an honor always to be able to serve and to coach with you guys. And the cool thing is I've been able to see your guys' stories unfold and kind of have a front row seat. So I always think about, like, this is off on a tangent, but I'm going to go there anyway. I always think about as if I am like the coach who is I'm not on the stage. This is not about Amber on the stage. This is about Amber in like the front row. And like I get a front row seat and you guys are the ones who are on the stage. And I get to be down there whispering lines to you and cheering for you and seeing the whole play unfold of your life. But it's not me on the stage. It's you guys on the stage. And I just get to be there as a proud coach in the front row, just cheering for you. So thank you so much for taking the time. And if you guys, I'm going to say it again, I've been using the link all week long. So if you don't know it by now, I'm going to give it to you. It's bicepsafterbabies.com/join. Macros 101 closes tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific. So you have until then to make the decision that's right for you. Obviously, this is not for everybody, as we have all talked about the people who this is not right for. But if you heard yourself in these stories and you can see yourself getting the results that we talked about here, then Macros 101 is going to be the perfect place for you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, guys.